Here's a quick walkthrough on how to create your own snippets in VS Code. Follow along with me. First, let's press Ctrl-Shift-P to open the command palette. You will see a search bar open at the top of VS Code. We are looking for Snippets, Configure User Snippets. This is where you can find all your custom snippets or create new ones. We're going to click on New Global Snippet and name it whatever you like. For this demo, I'll name mine My Snippets. Once you have named your file, it will open up and you will see some comments that look like this. Let's walk through what all of this means. Each snippet consists of 5 things: a name, scope, prefix, body, and description. If you leave the scope empty, the snippet will be applied to all languages. The prefix is what you will type to trigger the snippet. We can also create tab stops, final cursor positions, and placeholders. We'll talk about those in a minute. Now that we know the structure of a snippet, let's make one. In JavaScript, creating a class gets super repetitive. A snippet is a perfect solution to this. First, we start with a name. Let's call this one class object. Remember to name your snippets relative to what the snippet is going to be creating. Now we open it up into an object like this. The rest of the information for this snippet will be stored inside these curly brackets. Next, let's define our scope. I want to use this snippet when I'm working with JavaScript or TypeScript, so let's add both. Okay, and now we set our prefix. Try to think of something that is relative to what the snippet is and something that you can remember. For us, let's use class. It makes sense, right? We're creating a class, easy enough to remember. And now we make our body. The body is an array that contains all the snippet code as strings separated by each new line. This is important to remember if we want our code formatted a certain way. Let's start writing out our code, line by line and separated by commas. We will use a placeholder to name our class. This way, when we use the snippet, we can immediately rename it to whatever we need to be making. Let's look at this in action. Let's open up a new file and test out our snippet so far. Our prefix is class. Once you start typing class, you will see it pop up in the suggestions. With the prefix highlighted, press tab to populate your new snippet. Notice how new object is already highlighted and ready to be replaced. This is because we're using our placeholder. Once you are done renaming a placeholder, you can press tab to leave the placeholder and move on to the next one. Right now we just have one, so it will take us to the end of our snippet. Perfect. Now let's continue making our snippet. Line 2, we need a constructor. We can use more placeholders for each argument of the constructor. Notice the indexes of our placeholders. For the other lines, we can use the same indexes for each placeholder where we want to replace multiple words at the same time. Lastly, we can add a description to our snippet just for readability and documentation for later. And there you have it, your first snippet. Let's test it out. Pretend we need to make a class for a car. It should also have the properties of make, model, and year. So we start by typing our prefix class. Okay, now tab to start the snippet. Replace the class name to car. Boom, tab. Notice how pressing tab loops us through our placeholders and highlights them together based on the indexes that we set. And boom, look how fast and easy that was to add our make, model, and year properties. And that's it. Now you can create and add whatever custom snippets you want to your VS Code setup. Using snippets is going to save you time and effort, allowing you to focus on what really matters: solving problems, building projects, and kicking ass. Well, that's all for today. I hope you found these tips useful, and if you enjoyed the content, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and as always, this has been CoryTheDev. Transmission end.